Got a lot of quarterback battles going on out there. And I know some of you had to take vacation, some of you had to go overseas. And so I don't care what you've done. I care that you're back now. Here's what you've been missing, and here's all you need to know about some of these quarterback battles. So at Bama, it's a three-way race. Our buddies over at the Feinbaum Show put out a tweet yesterday, said, if you could pick any three people to go to dinner with, who would it be? And I said, Ty Simpson, Jalen Milroe, and Tyler Buckner. What a sicko. At Sickos Committee. What a sicko I am. But I'm serious about it. So Ty Simpson, I think they thought was going to win the job in the spring. I think turnovers were an issue, and he didn't take the job. And as a result, Nick Saban looked and said, you didn't do what you were supposed to do, so now I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to add another arm in the room, and Tyler Buckner comes in from Notre Dame, and they're about set to open fall camp now. Boy, I've gone back and forth on this. There was about a month period over the summer where I thought Jalen Milroe was going to be my pick. I have no strong pick here. I'm leaning back towards Ty Simpson. I think ultimately it's the best collection of skill that they're going to need. This is not going to be a quarterback-centric offense. Nick Saban himself sat right across from me 2 weeks ago and said, we relied way too much on Bryce Young last year. Everything ran through Bryce Young. Man, their offensive line is going to be really good. Like, if you want a hot take from me on Bama, I think they could lead the league in rushing this year. I think Eric Wolford was a phenomenally underrated offensive line hire after two pretty subpar guys ran through there and Flood and I think Marone. So I think that when I say subpar, I mean the overall eval process and the result was subpar by Alabama standards. Wolford's the real deal. Eric Wolford's the real deal. And the offensive line they put on the field this year will be the real deal. I think their run game will be the real deal. So the point being, I don't need a 4,500-yard passer here. I just need a guy to make good decisions, get me in the right check at the line of scrimmage, the right look, and don't turn the ball over. And maybe all three of them can do it. But I'm slightly leaning Ty Simpson right now. See me after their first scrimmage. Next up, Louisville. Very, very big sleeper team in the ACC. It has a lot to do with the schedule, which we've detailed on the show. Now, here's what you need to know. Brock Doman started 4 games for them last year. And it was average to above average. Not bad, but not great. Evan Connolly saw action in 2019's the last time you would have really seen him. Pierce Clarkson is a true freshman, 4-star kid. But Jack Plummer's the one that transferred in from Cal. Jack Plummer's also the one who has experience in Jeff Brom's system, played for him at Purdue, transferred to Cal, did pretty good at Cal last year behind a subpar offensive line, and now he's back there. I'd be surprised if he didn't win this job, but it's not like Jack Plummer is a surefire future first-round candidate in the NFL draft to where it's just unquestionable. Fall camp can be weird, and so I'm going to keep an eye on this one, even though I think that would be the obvious leader in the clubhouse. Ole Miss, man, this is anyone's guess. Now, at Ole Miss, maybe Lane Kiffin knows, and maybe he's just kind of played it close to the vest, but Jackson Dart started for them last year. And then they got the result they got. They sort of waned down the stretch as the schedule got tougher. And Spencer Sanders transferring out of Oklahoma State there was one of the bigger surprises of the transfer portal cycle. And Sanders was badly banged up last year and still played. You didn't see him as a player last year. You saw a shell of who he is as a player. If he's healthy, this will be a dogfight of a quarterback battle, and Sanders very well could take that job. I sat with Lane Kiffin 2 weeks ago, I think it was. I asked him because a lot of folks looked at this and said, wow. First off, he took Walker Howard from LSU, who once upon a time was thought to be the future at LSU, now maybe the future at Ole Miss. Already had Jackson Dart. Take Spencer Sanders. Lane, what are you taking all these quarterbacks for? Roll it, Colin.
What's your philosophy on acquiring quarterback talent? You guys got a couple out of the portal. I think it surprised some people. I mean, I raised my eyebrow at it, but at the same time, if I ran a team, I'd want to have as many talented guys in the room as possible. Is that pretty much the way you looked at that?
Sure. Like an NFL team, like your goal as the head coach or general manager or owner is like to make the best roster that you can, to make the best position groups that you can, and add talent. And so, like I said, you know, like we don't recruit or add talent or not add talent based off of someone's feelings. Mm-hmm. Of course, a lot of players don't want other good players coming at their spot. I mean, it just, again, let's be realistic. So, but that's not my job. My job is to put the best team and the best players together.
Is it a competition? Is it a controversy? Well, we don't believe in quarterback controversies. The only controversy is having no quarterback. So it's a competition, just like a linebacker competition or a left tackle competition. The difference is you got multiples of those positions on the field. This one, you're only going to have one on the field, and way more eyeballs are on it. I have no clue who I think is going to win this job, is my point. No clue. If Spencer Sanders is healthy, I think he has the better upside, like could legitimately win this job, and it all comes down to health. Obviously, Jackson Dart's got the familiarity. He's got leadership qualities. A lot of folks over there believe in him. I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying it's not a bad position to be in if you're Lane Kiffin. All right, out on the West Coast, some of you have noticed I've been talking about UCLA a lot. And it's because I think it's a sneaky good team because of this quarterback room. So step one for Chip Kelly was go get Dante Moore. Complete stud. And we've seen him in person at Elite 11. Dante Moore was the number 4 ranked prospect, number 3 quarterback in the 2023 cycle, out of Detroit, no less. So he comes out there to UCLA. They flipped him from Oregon. This was a big NIL get for UCLA. One of many reasons I think the sport has come to Chip Kelly. So that was part one. Part two is make sure you have insurance. Ethan Garbers has been there for a while, and he knows Chip Kelly's system. And if you had to roll with him today, you could probably win football games or be competitive. Colin Schlee, they got him to transfer in from Kent State. Got good offensive line play. They figured to have good offensive line play. They got the Steele kid from Kent State, or was it Ball State? Yeah, Ball State. Pet alligator kid, obviously, from the other show. I told you about that. And so this is not a situation where a quarterback is going to have to overwhelm early. They can afford to ease him in. Colin, could you show me, if we have it, do we have their schedule? I don't know if we loaded up UCLA's schedule or not. Okay, nice. I like it. Some of these teams like Utah, they start with a front-loaded schedule. Like Utah, I talked about it earlier. They play Florida, they play Baylor, they play UCLA first month of the season. UCLA doesn't have that. UCLA's got a situation where they play Coastal Carolina week 1. They go to San Diego State week 2. They've got something called NC Central in week 3. I'm sure good people over there. First time I've ever seen the logo. And then they go at Utah week 4. So they should be favored first 3 weeks. They should win those games. San Diego State, certainly not a pushover. Don't know anything about NC Central. We have not done our NC Central preview yet. Apologies. And then they go at Utah week 4. Point being, I think I'll have my quarterback situation decided by week 4. That's what I care about with UCLA. This could be a really good team. There's a reason they're in the top half of the Pac-12 in odds. There's a reason that over-under win total is up at 8.5. That's a high number for UCLA football. Keep an eye on him. Dante Moore is a stud. Like, if it's his team this year, there won't be many better quarterbacks in the country. I don't care if he's a true freshman. He's that good. So keep an eye on him. Also, up the coast at Oregon State. A little side note here. So I was doing some reconnaissance work in Corvallis, and those season tickets are going fast. Those folks up there know what they could have on their hands. Hats off to folks up in Corvallis, Oregon. Got stadium renovations been going on. It's going to be great. So anyway, you watched, or if you did watch last year, Ben Gulbranson. We saw him start. He was 7-1 as a starter, and that's good. That's really good. But it wasn't because of dynamic, overly prolific quarterback play that they were 7-1. They could win with him. Obviously, they've already done it before. But then they got DJ Uiagalelei out of the transfer portal. And they got Aiden Childs as well, who probably is a redshirt this year, but it's 4-star quarterback, so let's keep an eye on him in fall camp too. DJ is coming in a situation where got a good team around him, got a phenomenal coaching staff around him. I think a very underrated group of wide receivers just because they're smaller. And man, if he could put it together, if he could just be the DJ we thought we were getting out of high school, he thinks it's a much better system for him. However, Jonathan Smith, the head coach up there, has preached over and over again, my system puts a lot on a quarterback. That's why experience in my system is paramount. Well, DJ Uiagalelei has none of that. Is his talent and skill set enough to overcome that and win the job? That over-under win total is 8.5. This is a quarterback battle to keep an eye on. I know all the preview mags are going to say DJ. Just like at Louisville, it's going to say Jack Plummer, and that's who I'd pick. But it's not a slam dunk, so keep an eye on these things.